Hello, and welcome to another special bonus episode of the Back to the TARDIS podcast, the podcast where we discuss every single episode of the 2005 revival of BBC's Doctor Who. Today, we're not doing that. Instead, we are talking about the serial Remembrance of the Daleks, which was the first story in season 25 of the show's classic run, an explosive beginning to Doctor Who's 25th anniversary season, which is really funny because they had one that was like, they marketed a different story with the Cybermen later in the season as like the actual anniversary story, except that story's trash. So
nice.
I just consider this one as the actual 25th anniversary special, especially because like this is a bit of a continuity thing too, because it is set in the same year as the show started and when Unearthly Child was set, and it's in the same sort of area as where the first episode of Unearthly Child was set.
Does that mean the Doctor was around? Does that mean, like, would the first Doctor have been, like, nearby when this happened or something?
No, this is canonically, I think, supposed to be, like, the day after they leave or something.
Oh, whack.
That town can't catch a break.
Yeah. Which is why there's the thing of, like, oh, he left the Hand of Omega here, because the first Doctor left that there. And then Seven's coming back and dealing with it.
Wait, the first Doctor had the Hand of Omega?
That's what this implies.
Huh. So not when he ran away, not only did he nab a TARDIS, but he nabbed like one of the most important artifacts in Time Lord society.
Again, this is leading in. There was an idea, like sort of a similar thing to the Timeless Child, which is what I was talking about when I said the lung barrel reveal, because this eventually, like, it was supposed to be on TV, but because the show got canceled, it eventually just made its way into some of the novels, including a specific novel named Lung Barrow. So they're supposed to be setting up that he's a bit more of a mysterious figure, but in like a not bad way.
Yeah, this is jumping ahead a lot. This is the only time I'll bring it up, but like there's a point where he's describing to Ace everything that's going on with like the Time Lord history, and he says like he uses the pronoun we, and then she pushes him on that, and he's like, oh, they, as in the Time Lords, and that was like one of the hints that was just like, oh, a reveal that's not trash.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. And it's set up. It's for, like, I mean, I haven't read Lung Barrow, but it is basically set up and foreshadowed through basically this season on through the entirety of the VNAs, which is a lot of stories, as opposed to and that there's something more to him and not just vague whisperings about a Timeless Child, and then of course it's like, oh well, it obviously has to be the Doctor because clearly they're the only important character in this show.
No one else is allowed to have cool things. It's just him.
Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, we open. The interesting thing is that this is technically Ace's first episode as a full-time companion. She was introduced in the previous story and that was where the companion handover happened. But this is like her first episode as like a full-time companion. And I felt like when I was rewatching it, I was like, huh, this feels kind of like a very rushed setup. And I think part of the reason for that is that you get into the it becomes apparent that like he'd planned this all along. So they couldn't do the same level of like, oh, this is how they got here of that like I'm used to, because that would give away the fact that that Seven had planned everything from the beginning.
That's God. That really fucks with my head, honestly. Like,
When you said Seven was a planner, you weren't kidding.
Yeah.
yeah, you weren't kidding.
He is 100 like the only time he's not in control is when he figures out that there's multiple Dalek factions, and even then he just plays speed chess and is like, okay, I got this.
God, yeah, it's. Whew.
It honestly made me think of the line, I think it's in End of Time, where Ten says that he got clever, tricked people into taking their own life or something like that. It's a line I never really got with him, but like seeing some of classic, like Seven specifically, I'm like, oh yeah, he was becoming that type of person.
Yeah, and honestly, that like Seven's character does play into what you were saying, that he is more of a like important figure than we were initially led to believe. You know, obviously not timeless child levels, but like it definitely is like something there that he's like literally taking it upon himself to just wipe out the Daleks pretty much. Through the most convoluted plan possible. Like, it's a good plan, but at the same time, goddamn,
Yeah.
it has like 20
Yeah.
steps.
Yeah. Also, I find it funny that, I mean, part of it is because, like, Seven knows that Ace is somewhat... Ace is Ace, but I do find it funny that he doesn't raise... He just lets Ace walk out of the TARDIS with a boombox.
Yeah, Ace is like the partner that I've seen that has the like most free reign. Like,
Yeah.
he's just sort of like, here's some money, go buy some food, and just lets her
Yeah.
run off.
Well, I mean, also because, especially in later episodes, Ace is part of the Doctor's plan in some of the episodes. So he has her around as, like, part tactically and part because he has this weird kind of darker take on 12 and Bill's, like, student-teacher relationship.
I definitely saw vibes of that, yeah.
Yeah, she is she's a character, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, how the bar has fallen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, also I love how like the story like a like something that consistently happens throughout this entire episode is Seven just like walking into situations and being completely fine. Like Seven is one of the most like just like we made jokes about like Nine's energy, but Seven's energy is just so much more like, yeah, what, you can't like I know what's going on. I'll just walk in. You can't touch me.
Walks into a government surveillance van.
Yeah.
And then they just sort of roll with it. Like, he just talks well enough that they're just like, yeah, okay, bring him along. Definitely there is, like, some amount of plot armor there, but, like, also who cares? He's so good.
Yeah, no, there's plot armor, and then there's just, like, Seven's energy.
There's plot armor, and then there's literally, you're just so Machiavellian that you can just walk through anything, and it won't affect you.
There's plot armor, and then being, like, Seven's level of absolute mad lad. But yeah, and then he goes, he basically just barges into this surveillance van and is like, yeah, there's some stuff going on, and they go down to this junkyard, which is actually, that junkyard is the junkyard where the TARDIS is in the very first episode of the show.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even notice. Oh,
I didn't notice
okay,
that
yeah.
until he said I'd been here before, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I noticed that. I just noticed that right now.
Yeah.
I have seen like the first couple stories of one on Hulu, so.
Yeah. Yeah. And then of course we get like this episode actually, like, funnily enough, like, this almost lays the groundwork for Dalek, because this is the first one to do the specific, like, skeleton effect when someone gets hit by the ray, and this is the first one to have a levitating Dalek.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that when we were talking about Dalek, that this is the episode where we first saw them levitating and stuff, and
Yeah.
where we sort of see the insides of a Dalek. And I think it's real. Okay, what really interested me is when they're like phasing into existence, you can kind of see a skeleton inside them, and the skeleton is like really weird looking.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the Imperial thing of they have like weird like exoskeleton thingies.
So that's how they were before the Time War, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, this is all
they have these
pre-Time War.
weird crab exoskeleton forms. That's really weird.
Yeah.
And then they just
and
evolved
then,
into blobs.
Oh yeah, there's also, yeah. So of course they all shoot at it and it doesn't work, and then we get the one of the great 7 lines: "Ace, give me some of that Nitro 9 that you're not carrying." Which is like a callback earlier, because he's like, "You don't have any of these in your backpack, do you?" And she's like, "No." But yeah, I guess that's something that you I guess you might miss if you have. I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen the previous story either, but I know that. But yes, for fun, Ace makes homemade explosives.
For the lulz.
Yeah, she literally just does. So yeah, that is true. I forgot that the Doctor like literally like blows up a Dalek.
God, he does it so badass too. He like smacks it on it, or like he sets it down and then like runs away.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the best part is that even that he could have looked even cooler, but he didn't because the fuse time wasn't right.
Daleks just don't explode like they used to, man.
Yeah, no, totally.
Sad
like
shit.
literally, like one of the best parts about this is how visceral the Dalek explosions are, because like there's the sense that like instead of just being like CG or very polished, they just put like 10 pounds of dynamite inside the thing and was like, all right, let's set this fucker off.
Like legitimately, they are like genuine explosions.
And I mean, like, there's like the ones in like most of the ones in New are genuine explosions too, but you get the sense that they're much more controlled.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
yeah,
think
this feels really like they didn't have the budget for safety.
Yeah,
definitely not. The cheap ass, like how they, I don't know, it kind of adds to it to me how the Daleks are clearly like wobbling and they're not like the
fucking,
most stable.
That's the classic Dalek wobble.
Exactly. So like the fact that it's just like, oh, this
we New Who fans are spoiled rotten by the very clean Dalek gliding across the floor. Back in my dad's day, they fucking wobbled and people liked it.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, oh yeah, this like fucking alien master race, but it's like super fucking dodgy tech that could just like blow up and take like an entire city block with it. It's great.
So yeah. Oh yeah, also like the Doctor driving a car is weird. Like it happens in this episode. It's like weird how like, cause like normally they get driven around.
Yeah, isn't 3 the only one that's like done that up to this
Yeah,
point?
yeah, no, 3. Well, I mean, I think others have, but no, like 3 actually owned a car. I think actually no, 3 owned like 2 cars, like the super old like 1920s Roadster, and then he had like this fucking like weird like space age looking thingy called the Who-mobile. Um, you see, yeah, Dalek. The Doctor gives Ace like a rundown of Dalek history. Um, and we're introduced to Mr. Ratcliffe, which I have to say, like, man, this Dalek story has everything: action, explosions, obvious parallels to British fascism. Like, there's literally a black shirt in this episode. Multiple, in
Oopsie
fact.
doopsies. Yeah, the military guy. What is he? The Commodore or something like that? Captain, something like that. He's just always been goofy and military guy, and you can tell he's sort of just very much supposed to be a parody.
Okay, when that line happens where the Doctor calls him Brigadier, the first thought that came into my mind is like, even the Doctor thinks all white men look the same. But yeah, he's fun in how out of control he is, and because he's military and has the stick up his ass, he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm in control. And it's like, bro, you're not.
I mean, even the Brigadier listened to the Doctor more, but yeah. Also, most incarnations of the Doctor actually respected the Brigadier. Anyways, oh yeah, there's they enter the lab. There's another callback of Ace picks up a book on the French Revolution, which is like a reference to like Susan's reading a book on the French Revolution in the very first episode. Like, for the fact that this episode was pre-internet, there is an impressive amount of continuity nods.
I mean, I'm assuming they still have the first episodes like on
Yeah, I mean, they
tape,
had
so
them, but they hadn't necessarily been rerun.
yeah, but I'm sure the creators were rewatching it though.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, you like. There's definitely like, I love the fucking the bits that you get throughout the episode where the Doctor's like trying to get Ace in and like have her work through the plot too. Like it's an interesting way of like, she serves as like, not only is she still serving as the audience surrogate, it helps build up like her character and like her relationship with Seven. Oh yeah, also they hand wave the fact that nobody like knows about alien invasions, because the Doctor also makes a bunch of continuity references and is like, yeah, you guys just ignore alien invasions.
I mean, that hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like New Who makes a big deal of that like first contact episode, but like really, they've
Yeah.
been like, I feel like they must have at least 2 invasions per year throughout
Yeah.
classic, with classic and New Who combined.
Yeah. And then they go down and find the Dalek teleporter in the basement. The Doctor kills another Dalek basically by rewiring the transmat, so it essentially, you telefrag yourself. And then we get into the classic episode 1 cliffhanger of the Doctor running up the stairs and being like, haha, and then it started levitating, and even Seven's like, oh shit.
Yeah, the cliffhangers are some content gold.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Um,
you really got to make the edit of the second one where he just does a
you mean
one-liner in
the
the
third
episode.
episode? Yeah, the third
Right, the
episode.
third episode, sorry. Where you got to add the Seinfeld theme to that because it feels like the end of the Seinfeld episode, like, oh, I must have miscalculated, and then just cut to Seinfeld ending. That would be so good.
Yeah. Um, yeah, there's also like there's some great like banter here too, especially between like Seven and Ace. Like it is surprising like how like this is like 9 like early 9 or like 12 like especially almost early RTD level banter. Um Oh yeah, also you can tell this episode is great because early in the second episode it decides to give Ace a rocket launcher.
I love how the military's just like letting him. It's just like, yeah, just sign
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there is definitely like that plot armor that Avery mentioned there, but like at the same time like it's cool.
Yeah.
Um And then another great line of like, Doctor, where are you going? To bury the past. And Ace is like, I'm coming with you. And he's like, no, not your past. You haven't been born yet.
Oh my god, I love how when she stays behind, and I forget it was, it's like some woman was like, what do you mean you haven't been born yet? And she just gives the most like awkward look, like awkward smile, and then it cuts away, and I was just like, what is the direction? What's happening? Like this is the cheese that I was promised, and
Yeah.
by God it delivered.
um, then we have like right after that cheese, we have a really good scene in the cafe where he's talking with I think actually like I think it's the same actor who plays Will Smith's uncle in The Fresh Prince. Um, but this very interesting conversation where like or like monologue thing where uh Seven sort of ruminates over the uh blah, 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 the God, I'm having a moment. Like the consequences of his action and time and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I liked it. There's a lot more like slow scenes, which you can like afford to if you have it spread out over this long. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Um and then you definitely you definitely get the sense of like the Doctor has like planned to have Ace around because he powers up her baseball bat with the hand of Omega. But yeah, no, then this is where you get the idea that one like the first Doctor was the one who like left the hand of Omega there because you get like the guy who's on the phone who's like, yeah, someone's come to collect that big casket, but I thought you said he was an old geezer with white hair.
And that's like so interesting to me because it's like it actually took me a minute to like figure out what was happening with that because at first I was like, wait, does he mean one? But like, why did one have it? Like, all this confusion, and it took me a bit to sort of realize like, so did one like actually just run out of Gallifrey with like this powerful ass thing? I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. But I guess, as you said, it sort of gets explained in the expanded universe.
So yeah, then there's a bunch of action back and forth with Dalek stuff, which like I'm not gonna summarize because it's Daleks doing Dalek stuff.
They go beep warp, ah, pew pew, and then explode each other.
We do have um is it here? When is no oh no, okay, it's later. But yeah, he gives the Doctor gives Ace the baseball bat, and is like, no, stay here. Um, oh my god, I forgot about that. Like, reading through the script, I'm like, man, I can't believe I like either like missed or forgot like all the times that Seven just completely roasts Group Captain Gilmore. Like, he does not hold back. Like, this is like 12 level roasts. And then we get the one-off scene where Ace finds the sign in the window of the house that she's staying in, that is, yeah, the racist sign. And she, like, admittedly, like, it's not like Sophie Aldred, Ace's actor, is of the opinion that she should have just torn the sign down and like ripped it to pieces, but there's still like the intent is still made clear, and how that relates to Ace's character, and how she's like, all right, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, that's what, I sort of put in the group chat like, damn, this episode has like the based commentary, because you have that moment and it comes right after the moment about the sugar, where they
Mm-hmm.
sort of talk about like unforeseen consequences, where they basically it's pretty brutal. Like, it's a Jamaican guy working in the store. He's basically like, yeah, if it weren't for sugar, my great 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 grandfather would have like still been in Africa and not been
Yeah,
kidnapped and enslaved. It's like,
yeah.
whoa, whoa, this is
I
like
mean,
the
like,
80s,
yeah,
man. Like,
it
damn.
makes the point that like the face of the Earth was completely changed over something that seems as insignificant to us as sugar. And part of the reason why sugar seems so insignificant to us is because the entire face of the planet was changed and many atrocities were committed for sugar and money.
Politics in my classic Who. Yeah, no,
And then,
it's
yeah,
good stuff.
also there's the nod where the BBC announcer is like, we're about to, like, Saturday viewing continues with an adventure in the new science fiction series Doc, and then it cuts away.
Oh yeah, I love that gag. That was my favorite.
uh um And then we get into the best scene in the entire episode, where Ace beats the shit out of a Dalek with a baseball bat.
It's very satisfying. She does like a whole combo on it too. She like
Yeah.
smacks it down low, smacks it up high, spins around and whacks its eye stalk off.
And then
Fun.
dives through a window and under a desk.
Yes, oh my god, like when she dives through the window, I was like, whoa, 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 you can't just pull that out.
Yeah, she goes fucking sicko mode on that thing.
And then she beats up another one too.
Yeah.
She literally does
And
like
blows one up with a
fighting game
rocket
combo
launcher
moves.
earlier on. Yeah, it's great.
For first episode, like first full adventure, this is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to see just a splice cutting between like Ace beating the fuck out of Daleks and like Rose just like freaking the fuck out.
um yeah, and then yeah, but yeah, no, every time, like, a bunch of Daleks explode in this episode, and I'm just gonna keep pointing this out because god is it satisfying. Because like a lot of time there's like, I don't know, in New Who you get the sense that like there's an explosion and then they show a shot of a like wrecked Dalek that's like, you know, got like inside spilling out and has had like the whole top blown off. But here, like in one, you get the sense that like in one unbroken shot, just like boom, Dalek husks smoking left behind. So yeah, then the two scientists kind of study the Dalek that they just destroyed, which had all white and gold casing as opposed to the other one's sort of black and gray casing, and they notice that the little Dalek mutant inside is different, which sets up like this is such like a great idea, and I don't know, I think there might have been bits of it in earlier Dalek episodes, but this is such a good fucking idea. Oh yeah, and then yeah, and then they go down into the basement, and like the two scientists just kind of watch the Doctor like explain about the transmat, and then just like he like beats the shit out of it. He's like, no, I don't want them coming yet.
That part is so funny. I don't know, like just seeing the because McCoy is like the scheming doctor, but at the same time he's also like a lot more physical than like some of the more modern doctors. Like he's really just okay with running in and doing things himself. Like,
yeah.
He has no problems blowing a Dalek up, beating the fuck out of some shit. Like it's wild.
Yeah. But yeah, there's also this, like, I will say, like, most of the human cast who is not Ace kind of gets, like, steamrolled by the fact that the story is the Sylvester McCoy show with a little bit of Sophie Aldred. But there is, like, the nice scene where, like, the scientists and the group Captain Gilmore are just both sitting around, like, we have no idea who the fuck he is, but he clearly understands more about this than any of us do, so we should probably just let him do his thing.
This is also where they start making fun of the fact that they're, like, conscripted in the army, so whenever he's like, follow me, they start doing the mock salute, and I love them so much.
Yeah. Yeah, the two, like, I think, like, of course they did, because Big Finish does all that shit, but they have, like, their own spin-off thing through Big Finish. Proof that, like, literally fucking anything can get a spin-off from Big Finish if they're running out of ideas.
Desperation breeds creativity.
But yeah, like Seven like takes Ace into the hallway and explains like his whole like plan, and then is just like, well, there's just one problem. I didn't expect two Dalek factions, and now I've got to make sure that the right ones get the hand of Omega. And then he manages to basically flawlessly do that. Like after like it's almost like it is scary how effective he is, because after like the first episode where like a bunch of like soldiers get killed, like nobody who isn't a villain dies.
Yeah, there's not too much like weight to the. I mean,
yeah.
I guess
this episode has a surprisingly low body count of like
of humans,
good of humans or like the good side, shall we say, are heroes.
Seven doesn't have plot armor; he has plot tanks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so there's, I guess we forgot to mention, throughout the entire episode, there's been, like, this, like, it's supposed to be creepy child, but doesn't have the best acting, who's been following around and watching them, and in this episode it's revealed that she's, like, the one running the show for the renegade Daleks, and they hand wave of like, oh, like children are imaginative and Daleks need imagination. But it's really funny when like this Dalek chair turns around and you just see a schoolgirl in it, and then she gets up out of the chair and picks up a fucking Tesla ball and is like, yes, this is the time controller.
Radcliffe is like, am I being fucked with?
Yeah, it's fucking silly. And then there's the best thing of like, he slams like a fucking business card onto the time controller and then leaves, and then she comes back in and is like, no, the time controller has been disabled, and then she looks at the fucking calling card and it's got like Gallifreyan characters and a question mark.
Perks of being president-elect, you know?
Like, this has the energy of that one fucking scene in Batman and Robin where Batman pulls out a fucking, like, Bat credit card.
I mean, literally, this entire episode is just, like, an episode of, like, classic Batman where the Doctor just pulls out all the gadgets and just has a perfect plan somehow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then Mike, who is like one of the like primary like human, I almost said human NPCs, but like human like side characters who like the episode has like very unsubtly shown is working for Ratcliffe the fascist, who accidentally trips up and reveals that he's a line, and Ace gets pissed off. Like, yeah, I respect Ace's rage. And then we get to the end of episode 3, where a shuttle lands in the courtyard, and like all the windows shatter, and the Doctor just like looks up and looks at the camera and is like, I think I might have miscalculated, and fucking winks, and it cuts to the credits.
And that's when the Seinfeld music should cut in.
It was fucking, yeah, he's great.
You just know the director lost his shit when he saw that.
Yeah. Like, it is so like shit-eating grin. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I have to say, like, episode 4 is where this all, like, definitely all comes together. Because we start off with the Doctor just fucking, like, this, like, in less than 5 minutes after this, like, shuttlecraft lands, Seven has completely disabled it.
Like, yeah, it's so impressive. He just, like, zip lines onto it, takes out the Dalek, like, rewires everything. Like, damn, like, it's just baffling because, you know, you see the Doctor now where he's, like, struggling, you know, to get out of, like, pretty, you know, like, pretty much just, like, oh, you're stuck on a ship and it's going to a bad place and there's bad people, you know. He's, like, almost dying every episode, and then you watch this where the Doctor is just like from beginning to end like not even remotely in danger, and it's like, wow. God damn.
Oh yeah, and then Mike runs into Ace again, and she punches him in the face. What a legend.
Should have used her Dalek bat, to be honest.
It already broke, remember? Seven broke it earlier in the episode.
Damn. Yes. F in chat for the bat. I forgot.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the fact that, like, he zip lines onto the Dalek craft, like, opens up the panel, like, shuts down this Dalek, mocks the Dalek while he's shutting it down. He even, like, hangs his hat over the eyepiece. It's so fucking... And then has the one-liner of, like, Daleks are such boring conversationalists. Like, he just has an energy in this episode. And, like, like in the next episode, he literally takes down a dictatorship that's, like, supposed to be, like, a parody of, like, Thatcher's Britain for fun in, like, a day.
Is it 7 most OP doctors?
Yes, kind of, yeah.
It's like, if you told me that one was the Timeless Child, like, I wouldn't like it, but sure, because damn.
Like, ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then they pull out the special weapons Dalek, which is even more inherently satisfying than the already satisfying Dalek explosions, because this one, the explosion is so big it literally, like, completely vaporizes the casing. And there's just like small flames and smoke left on the tarmac. Like, it is like the special weapons Dalek, like, is kind of like an ensemble Dark Horse kind of thing. And, like, I don't necessarily think, like, for me at least, it's not because of the design, it's because it just completely, it's because of how satisfying the explosions in this episode are.
Oh yeah. Doesn't it cameo in Asylum for, like, no reason?
So. I think so, yeah, because, like, Asylum, they just, like, pulled all the props out of storage. Oh yeah, then Ace explains the whole Dalek Civil War thing, which, again, I think is fucking great. Like, the idea of, like, the Daleks literally mutating, and that mutation causing a civil war because their ideology fundamentally cannot handle them mutating, was fucking hilarious. Like, that's perfect.
Gave me serious hybrid penis head Dalek vibes.
Yeah.
But, like, less phallic. So, points in my book.
Yeah, no, but it is similarly, like, it's just fucking, it's great. Oh yeah, also the Doctor claims that he has 900 years experience of rewiring alien machinery, which we're just going to ignore. Because it doesn't work, and the series has never been consistent with the Doctor's age before New Who.
I forget, how old is the Doctor now?
If you factor in Heaven Sent, like 4 billion years old.
Okay, not factoring in Heaven Sent, that doesn't count.
Like 2,000
plus.
Yeah.
So, like, half of his life was just Matt Smith, and it was just 11 and 12, right?
Yeah. I'd also wager that, like, a decent length of time was also, like, 8 and... Well,
Whoa.
1 especially had to have been, like, at least a couple hundred years, because 1 dies of old age.
Yeah.
Even
though then later 11 takes, like, 800 years to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe it was just stress or something else. I don't know. Anyways, Then we get the scene where the Doctor contacts the Dalek mothership. The Emperor Dalek reveals himself as Davros, and they just have this great like ham off for 5 minutes, where it's just like, which one of us can yell louder?
Again, I'm loving the contrast of energy because 7 just like openly mocks him, and then when 10 meets him again, he's just angsty and is getting manipulated so easily by him. And then 12 kind of has the same deal, but 7 is just not taking any of that shit, and I love it so much.
Yeah. He's just like, nope. Hand of Omega, go burr. And literally, like, when he manipulates Davros into it, you get this sense that he's just like, oh no, don't use the Hand of Omega. Like, he literally fucking reverse psychologies this bitch into blowing up his own planet.
It's so God.
That sheer BDE.
Davros, you wouldn't dare use it. Haha.
The college
And
weren't taught reverse psychology.
Davros is literally pleading for his life, and 7's like, nah, you did this to yourself, bitch, later. Get fucked.
It's like, have pity. I do. Bye.
Later. And then the loose end of Mike gets fucking murdered. Good riddance. They also, the other best part about this episode is they kill off all the fascists in this episode. Every single one.
And they do it in the best way, because that girl kills people by doing Emperor Palpatine lightning hands.
Yeah. It's so, yeah, and he gets, like, thrown back so hard that it, like, breaks the railing. Like, he gets fucked.
I love how they managed to do that right before the, like, Daleks die, and her connection to them is broken.
Yeah, just so they could make sure that all the fascists are dead.
Which is, like, that must be traumatic as hell. Like, real talk to a little girl.
Yeah.
Like, the scene of Ace, like, just holding her crying is, like, legit. Like, no cheese, no memes or anything like that. That was legit touching to me.
Yeah.
Probably the most emotionally serious moment for me in the episode.
In this episode.
But the fact that it comes, like, not 5 minutes after Emperor Palpatining someone to death.
Yeah. And immediately followed by 7 literally goading a Dalek into suicide.
God, yeah, that one was dark.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, bitch, your family, like, your entire species is dead. You have no hope.
And the Dalek's response to that is like, where's your sources, bro?
Yeah. No, literally, like, fucking in the next story, 7 literally gets someone to not shoot him, and he's literally being held at gunpoint, point blank, and he literally convinces someone to not shoot him by basically just being like, try me, bitch, you won't. Except it's, like, actually chilling. And he even, like the Doctor has, like 7 has, like, a ridiculous level of one-liners. That, like, one-liners that, like, just throughout this, like, episode, and just capping off with him, like, poking at, like, the smoking remains the last Dalek and just being like, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and fucking walking off. And yeah, then they just have, like, a very short resolution scene, which I mean, I guess I do like that this scene is here, that it doesn't just end with the one-liner, that it ends with, like, Ace being like, did we actually do good? Yeah. Anyways. Anything before we move on to ratings?
this is just a random thought, but the first thing I thought when I saw Coal Hill School was, oh wow, I didn't know this was a backdoor pilot to Class. That's all I got.
Um. Uh. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this episode is just entertaining. Like, it has Sylvester McCoy in full form, just being the most magnificent bastard ever. Um, like, yeah, the side characters aren't nearly as interesting or fleshed out, but they're entertaining. They have a point in the plot. The plot, surprisingly enough, well, I mean, I guess it is only an hour and a half, but like, there's no real like padding. Like, every scene like feels like it needs to be there. Like, very leanly paced. Um, Funny. Lots of fucking awesome explosions. And several of the single most badass things to ever happen in Doctor Who ever. Yeah. Like, there's still like a little thing, like some jank that I think kind of saves it, means I can't give it a perfect 10, but it's definitely a very strong 9.
Yeah, this was really enjoyable. This is my well, I'm not gonna say it's my first full-length classic episode because I watched the whole like Doctor Who revisited things like around the 50th, but like I forgot pretty much all of them. So this is the first story I remember. That being the case, this was an absolute treat. I see why the memes about Seven, the legends you might say, are true. Um, Everything was enjoyable. Even the cheese was like good cheese. It's like the cheese you know you're gonna get in like this era of television, especially for like a sci-fi show. Um, and I don't know, knowing what we now know of like what would become of the Time War, just kind of seeing this like unofficial start, and it's just something the Doctor thinks of like right now. It's like, oh yeah, that was just a Tuesday for me. Like that's pretty rad. Um, I don't know if I'd give it a 9. I'd give it a solid 8. It's enjoyable. I'd put it on again in the background, and probably stop what I'm doing and watch it instead. So 8 out of 10.
Um, yeah, I think it was honestly it was a very fun watch. Yeah, I enjoy Seven a lot. I really see what Jeff has been talking about. Cause damn, damn. Yeah, okay. Oh my God, I just realized a comparison. Okay, don't take offense, but Sylvester McCoy in this episode reminds me a lot of Dee in a season 12 episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which ends in her tricking a man into a male stripper into twerking his dick on his
Oh
daughter's
yeah,
face.
yeah, I remember that.
And I think that just has the exact same
Same
energy as
energy.
Sylvester McCoy in this episode, where it's just like it seems like a normal episode, like for most of it, and then at the end you realize like a character has just been like brutally Machiavellian the whole time and just does something absolutely like fucked. Like goddamn. Anyways, yeah, that's the energy it has. And I enjoyed it a lot. I think Ace is wonderful. Her combo moves on the Daleks. She's a very good companion from what I've seen in this episode. Sylvester McCoy is great as the Doctor. I think the plot overall. Okay, it was definitely a little unclear at parts, but I feel like that's kind of the point where it like sort of clears up at the end. So like it doesn't matter too much overall. There is some jank. Definitely, there's a lot of plot armor. Like there's a lot of plot armor to Seven, but overall, I'd say it's really good. I'd say honestly, yeah, I agree. 9 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah. So normally this is where I do our next time thing, but I don't know what we're doing next because the next bonus episode is a month away. I might just say we keep going through some of Seven stuff and talk about Seven. Maybe we'll do some Big Finish. Maybe we'll talk about like a really highly rated classic story like Caves of Androzani or something. So I guess we'll figure that out in a month's time. But until then, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at B2TARDISPod. You can support us on Patreon to get early access to bonus episodes like these, listen into the show live, and possibly even guest star on an
I am Skylar. You can find me on Twitter at skyhigh9_5.
And I am Vor, and you can find me at Big Fat Penis 69.
All right. And we'll see you all next time.